Hey everybody, my name's Parker and I'm with Game Nerdz, and today we're taking a deep dive into your deepest regrets with Deep Regrets. Now in today's video, we're not going to be doing a full how to play, but we will unbox this, show off some of the amazingly cool components, and just kind of get a feel for the vibe of the game. They always say not to judge a book by its cover, but as a board gamer, I find it hard not to judge a board game by its cover. And right now, something very interesting is happening. Let's take a look. It's a newspaper, but I don't think it was printed brown. I think this is the result of aging and deep water decay. Let's see if we can get this to focus. There we go. Deep Regrets, an unfortunate fishing game. If you haven't played the super popular indie video game called Dredge, you should definitely check it out. It's got those Cthulhu vibes. It's very creepy, and I think we're going to get into some of that in this game as well. So looking at the side of the box, they do give us a little bit of information here. If I can get this to focus, there we go. This is a 1 to 5 player game in ages 16 and up, just because it does deal with some kind of yucky looking fish. Although after we take a look at it, maybe you'll be able to help determine if anyone younger might be okay with it. Our playtime looks like 30 minutes per player, so it is a solo game. That sounds like you could wrap up in about 30 minutes if you really wanted to. And then we do have a contents breakdown just on the side of the box. That's pretty cool. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the Kickstarter exclusive paper wrapping. To my knowledge, the contents inside here shouldn't differ if you were to buy the non-Kickstarter version, which you can find right back here. I'm assuming is going to look just like this inside this package, but let's go ahead and get this off. Oh, I felt bad ripping that. You know when you're opening a Christmas present and everyone's watching and you're like, I don't know, maybe that's just me. I'm sure some of you hooligans go to town on the paper. Look at that. Oh, and now all of a sudden, it feels like butcher paper. All right, let's get rid of this. Save that for some light reading later. Here is the actual box. Tons of beautiful coloring. Fantastic quality, some glossy inlays on some of the areas where the title is, and there's a little bit more of a picture for you for the back of the components. Now let's go ahead and crack into this thing here. First things first, look at the inside of this box. Are you kidding me? Wow. Again, artwork is looking very Cthulhu, very gruesome. But yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look here. So we've got the rule book. It says The Angler's Guide to Fishing. And it has got a giant squid-like Cthulhu thing again. Here we go. We're seeing the theme. Mounting that boat and just saying, you will never see land again. That's unfortunate. On the back of the rulebook, we do have some information there that might help you throughout the game, especially with some keywords and imagery. So that is always appreciated and helpful. We've got the Ocean Madness Tracker, and on the back, we have the Angler's Guide Ocean Survey. So this is actually going to track your madness throughout the game. The game is called Deep Regrets after all, so we will probably see some very unfortunate things happening to our player characters, and we will slowly be dipping into madness. Here is a notebook. I'm sorry, it's not necessarily a notebook, but a tearaway replenishable ocean survey. As you can see there, we'll get a better shot on this guy here. There's your ocean survey that I would assume is used for end-of-game point tallying. All right, now let's get into this next board here. This looks like the port board. So in this game, there are a couple of action phases that allow you to make choices, whether you want to go to port, sell your fish, maybe buy some new rods and reels, or you want to go out to sea and keep fishing. This is the port board, and it looks like here, this one actually folds out. Perfect. This is the Let's fold it so you can see the briny deep. So this is actually going to be where you're going to be catching your fish, going out into different levels of depths to find different strengths or sizes and values of fish. I would assume the lower you go, the more regrets you have. Let's go ahead and fold that back up, set it on top of our port board. A very nice little cloth bag, as you can see, that looks like it's going to be very helpful for keeping our tokens intact in one place. Let's see what's going on here. So this is actually a very interesting style of bag. It's not necessarily plastic. It's kind of like it feels like, I don't know how it feels. You'll have to get one yourself to find out. But let's go ahead and open this up. We've got some player colors and identifiers. Oh, I'm dropping things. So these are going to be, I saw an eye. Set this down for a second so I can show you. These are going to be your madness trackers. So if, for example, you wanted to be the red character, the red player character, this would be your boat, and this would be, where is it? And this would be your madness tracker that would go onto the Ocean Madness board that we were looking at not too long ago. So again, you've got red, you've got a blue color, I guess a darker blue, you've got like a turquoise color. I don't think anyone calls it turquoise. It's turquoise. We got this very sandy orange looking color that's very thematic for an ocean style game. And then speaking of thematic, this is probably the color I'd play. This is like sea moss, seaweed green, kind of trash green. Trash green. That's probably where I'd go. Very cool player pieces that are really high quality wooden pieces. Let's take a look in this bag here. In this game, I will say, as I'm looking at this, there is some element of luck involved because on your turn, you're going to be rolling some dice. That's going to be determining how you catch fish, the price of things, etc., etc. We won't get too deep into how the dice affect your overall gameplay, but just know that if you are not a fan of rolling dice and those dice determining some of the actions and outcomes that you can have during a game, keep that in mind that this does use some of those elements. Wow, these are nice. These are D4s. Let's see if I can show you this. So yeah, here are just a big old bag. I say they're D4s, but oh yeah, they are D4s, but there's two sides that are ones, and then we get into 2 and 3. Interesting. Oh, what's this? A metal token. I can tell a metal token when I see it. It's kind of something I'm good at. Like, if I see a metal token, I'd be like, that's a metal token. But there is the metal token right there. Let's see if I can get this side for you. It's like a fish head. There it is. There it is. There it is. There's the fish head. And then on the back is a fish butt. Makes sense, heads or tails. All right, let's get into this last bag. I would assume the last bag of wooden tokens. There's only a few in here because these are quite large compared to the others. So this is a bob, like a buoy. What do you call these? It's definitely not a lighthouse. It's one of those bobber things that just kind of sits there, you know? All right, whatever. This is actually the first player token. I do know that. This is a big old anchor that's going to indicate who is the first player, and that's important because you take your turn in clockwise order, if I'm not mistaken. There's that, and then the donut, the life preserver, the thing that you always see on the ground at the public pool. If you go to public pools, you'll know what this is. Otherwise, unless you're David Hasselhoff, you might not know what this is. This life preserver is actually a really cool mechanic because whoever rolls the highest value at the start of the turn actually gets to give this away to any of the other players. And this -2 at a glance looks like a bad thing, but actually it's a discount token. When you're at the shop, you can use this to have -2 off the cost of a new rod, a new reel, or when you're deep sea fishing, you can have this -2 help you to catch some of the larger fish. So a really cool piece of equipment that could either help you make a friend or an enemy. All right, let's get into some of these little cards. These are actually, I know for sure that some of these are our regret cards. We spoke a little bit earlier about we would be dipping into some madness, losing our mind at sea, as all good fishermen do. And some of these things will either help or hurt you, but that's up to you, the player, to determine how to use them. So these are your regret tokens, regret cards, I should say. Let's just see it. They might be numerically, yeah, so 0s, 1s, A lot of ones. There's some twos. And these add to your total value that would then get added to your madness track. And as you can see here, those things might determine the value of your fish at the end of the game, whether it's a fresh fish or a foul fish. That's up to you to determine how mad you go. Let's see, here we've got some different critters. We've got some crabs. We've got some shrimps. We've got what is that? A doll head. That's a doll head. That's scary. Okay, so things are going to get a little weird. And a syringe. Yeah, watch out for rusty needles when fishing in the deep sea. All right, so let's take a look at our player boards. There are 5 different characters, all of which have a reverse side. So I guess technically 10 different characters. Let's take a look here at Alba. And on the back, Bulb. There's a foul creature and a fresh creature, I guess. Similar with how you're going to be fishing, you can decide. And none of these player boards, being Alba versus Hugo, isn't going to give you any kind of advantage. It's just thematic flavor. Be whoever you want to be. Feel free to be either Hugo or Hogu. Yeah, Hogu. Yeah. Let's see. We've got Isla or Ela. Very nice. Let's see. These are cool. Bert or Burp. And last but certainly not least, we've got Fred or Fraud. I don't know about you, but if I was playing anybody, probably be Burp. Let's get into the last little bit of components here. We've got some punch outs here that I'm not sure what they do, but there they are. Very few punch outs in here. Actually, those are the only punch outs we've seen. We've got a ton of cards because these are going to be our fish. Let's take a look at some of the fish we can find here. Some is that an orca? We've got orcas, so we can fish for orcas as well. That's pretty cool. Oh, he's not looking good. That's not looking very good at all. The Bathial Queen. So there's going to be some very spooky things in this game. That's an Ophthic Asp. I don't know what. That's an Eversquid. I could say that. Oh, a giant isopod. That's terrifying. I don't like this. I love it, actually. Let's see if I can find something really cool. Oh, cool. Everyone knows this. Do you think you've got the gusto to catch the Kraken? So the cost to sell that fish, you'd get $7. No. The cost to catch that fish is 7 hooks. Again, you can use certain things like your dice and those life preservers to help discount the cost of catching that fish. And then at the end of the game, your value of how many points it's worth is going to be 9 points. That's a monster right there. See if I can find anything else. This is a fun one. The plug. You could just pull the plug on the ocean, drain the ocean, and then you could just walk around and grab the fish. That's cheating. So also, aside from fishing, as I mentioned, you can go to port and buy some supplies. So here's a few things that you might be able to buy. Some absinthe. You know, that's not going to help you go any crazier. You're already crazy. So absinthe, let's see. Let's get into like the middle stack here. What's this? Cask ale. Yeah, that helps the seasickness, is what I read somewhere. There is, this is good. Who doesn't need a bag of maggots? I don't need a bag of maggots. Please don't send me a bag of maggots, please. All right, let's take a look at some of these other cards here. These are our reels. There are different kinds of reels. Reel of Infinite, Bone Wheel, Center Pin Wheel. Wait, did that say wheel? That says reel. The other one said wheel, I promise. That's the Manifold Reel. And each of these is going to help give you some kind of a buff to your fishing expedition, similarly to your poles. Your pole, you could have something like this, just a stick with some tape on it and call it your lucky pole. Or you could get a rod, I don't know, a narwhal rod, a rod of fortune, rod of the dead, rod of the infinite. So pairing up a good rod with a good reel is every fisherman's tool of the trade. And in this game, you will be trying to buy the best combination of those things so that you can get out there, catch the biggest fish, score the most points, and ultimately win the game. That is going to do it for today's unboxing of Deep Regrets. If you want to challenge yourself, try not to go too mad, and fish out into the murky depths of the ocean, you can find Deep Regrets at GameNerds.com. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on future uploads here at Game Nerdz YouTube channel. And until next time, friends, we'll see you later.